You're tuned into Full Service Radio.
Full Service Radio.
Full Service.
Full Service. Full Service.
Full Service Radio. Hey, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is Melissa, and you're tuning in to the Edible Activist Podcast. This show highlights Black and brown edible activists in the food and farming space. And not that kind of edible you're probably talking about. LOL. But I'm not mad, though. We're talking about food activism, people, and food stories that are bringing us back to the land. As the creator of Food Talks DC, I travel the DC area and beyond to document personal food journeys, perspectives, and anecdotes from everyday people on topics related to health, tradition, environment, food justice, culture, and so much more. Every week, I will bring in a special guest to hear their personal food journey firsthand and learn how they are channeling edible activism in the DC area. We don't promote people, we tell stories and empower communities. So today on the show, I'm extremely glad and happy and excited to have Farmer Dom Hosak.
Yes. Hey,
he's
everybody.
In the building, y'all.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while. We've been wanting to do this for a little while.
Yeah. We bumped into each other a
Yeah.
few weeks ago, or I can't even keep track of time right now.
Yeah, Chris's launch party.
Shout out to Chris. Yes. Pippin sauce. I
Yes.
swear, food brings us together.
Yes, exactly.
That's always been my tagline. It brings us together. Well, I'm so happy to have you here with me to chat with you. We've met a few times, but we haven't had the opportunity to sit down and just really dig in.
Yeah, chop it up. Yeah.
Because I know you dig in all the time as a farmer, but I'm going to dig in today.
Yeah.
Because I need to know who Dom is.
Yes.
So you're a farmer. You're a dad.
Yes.
You are, I'm sure, a brother to many in some capacity.
Yes.
A friend. And you just know what you're doing out in the field, hopefully.
I try.
And so you're at the ARC. Arc.
Yeah. I'm the farm manager at the ARC farm down in Southeast, and I've been the farm manager there for 3 years now.
That's awesome. So for those who are not familiar with the ARC, I actually haven't been in years. My bad. I need to go and visit y'all. It's a theater, right? The ARC is
It's like a community campus. So they have a theater. There's Children's Hospital. There's the ARC farm.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah. There's Apple Tree Elementary School. There's Bishop Walker School for Boys now. So it's like a big kind of multi-dimensional campus with all these services.
They've built up though, since they've been building up, right?
Yeah.
Because when I went, I didn't remember seeing all that. I just saw the theater.
Yeah, they just literally this
the
year.
farm wasn't even there.
Yeah, they just opened up a new building this year. The farm is expanded, so yeah, it's a lot going on down there.
Awesome, yeah. So that's located in Southeast DC, and so there's a farm, and that's where Dom is at, and he is the farm manager, lead farmer, farmer boss, whatever you want to call it. So you guys know how this goes down. You know, I dig into these guys. I get to know them a little bit. I get to know their roots and where they're from, a little bit about their background, and they take us along this journey to where they are now. And so I've actually had the privilege of sharing your story over a year ago, just very briefly. And I do know that you were in school to become a doctor.
Yeah, I was in a doctoral program at the University of Maryland. It's actually what brought me up. I was living in Atlanta before this. Came up to study public health, and I was studying food access and nutrition. And during that time, I sort of realized that we don't really need a lot more theory around who needs to eat healthy food and what sort of nutrition the community needs. We really just need people who are focused on local production.
So you said, F this, I'm out.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Excuse
me. It was my second year and I dropped out.
Okay, so take us back. Where are you from? Where are your roots? Who is Dom?
Yeah, so
I need to know.
I'm originally from Indiana, from a really small town in Indiana called Angola.
I ain't never heard. I've heard of Angola, but not Angola, Indiana.
Yeah, it's a super small town, 3,000 people.
You blink, you miss it.
Yeah, exactly. Really small town. I went to undergraduate in Indiana, and then I moved to Atlanta for my master's program. I have a master's in public health. And that's when I first got really interested in food access and food security work. I was working on a project with black mamas, and we were asking them questions about why they weren't eating healthy, and they were all like, we just can't afford it. I mean, Whole Foods and all these places are way too expensive, and there's no options like that in my community. And so that's what really kind of turned me on to the idea of the importance of bringing in good, healthy, organic food into our communities. I hadn't really thought about it before, how there's big disparities in who gets organic, really nice produce and who doesn't. And so it was in Atlanta that I really kind of awoke to that reality.
Wow. Where did you get your master's from?
At Morehouse School of Medicine.
Okay,
Morehouse. I went to a black school. Yeah. It was really important to me. I grew up in an all-white community.
I was about to say, what was that transition like from Indiana to Morehouse?
It was.
I leaped that far.
It was a cultural shock at first.
It had to have been.
Yeah, it definitely was. But it was the best decision. Did you feel this sense of
community when you got to Morehouse?
Like, oh my God, like I never have before.
Wow,
I mean, that changed
what's
my
up.
whole entire life. Yeah,
that is what's up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, I was down there too with the awesome mentorship that I had and just the access I had to everything, that I realized that food was one of the most kind of important parts of building healthy communities and building a healthy self.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So you left Atlanta.
Yeah, I left Atlanta. So, I didn't even really want to get a PhD.
Okay.
But at the time I was working in a nonprofit making next to no money.
Of course you
and
were.
all of my mentors were like, you need to get a doctoral degree. I feel like they are always pushing like black folks to get more degrees.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts about that. But I decided my mentors were like,
those thoughts at a later time.
my mentors were like, you need to get a doctoral degree so that you can run one of these nonprofits one day. And I was like, okay, fine. I was like 24 at the time. So I applied to a few schools. I got accepted to the University of Maryland. I'd always wanted to come live in the DMV. A lot of my friends were from there that I had met in Atlanta. And I was like, this is a perfect fit. So I moved everything up to DC. I lived in DC and commuted out to the University of Maryland at College Park every day for 2 years.
And you did public health. Oh, you were getting your PhD in public health?
Yeah, in community and behavioral health. And then my focus area within that was, again, food security and nutrition. And so I was working on different projects, kind of looking at different communities and food deserts in certain communities and surpluses of food in other communities. And again, it just became really obvious to me that it's not that people don't want to eat healthy or know the importance of eating healthy. The real crux is that there just is not access to healthy foods. And there really just aren't enough local organic producers that are supplying healthy organic food for communities.
Okay.
And during that time, simultaneously, I was doing an internship with DC Greens, and that was my first real experience getting to farm and garden. And I found just a complete love for it, like being in the dirt, working with my hands. My father's an engineer, and so I always watched him growing up, like build things and working with his hands. So I kind of had that disposition my whole life, but actually doing that internship and really like working with the soil and working with the land was really transformative for me.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
Did you all do any farming, anything in Indiana?
No, I mean, my father always had a garden, but I just was never interested.
Really?
Yeah, even though it's big farm country, so it's like tons of like cornfields and soybeans and stuff. I never saw a small organic farm ever until I actually moved up here to the DMV for the first time, and I really saw like small scale organic farms. Yeah,
that probably makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I saw huge cornfields and soybean fields and massive tractors, but I never saw
more industrial farming out
exactly
there.
I never saw like rows of different type, like diverse crops all being grown right by each other. I'd actually never heard of a CSA before, and that's what I manage now, is a community supported agriculture program where we give bags of produce out to the community. So surprisingly enough, even I grew up in the heartland farm country, I never saw the sort of farming that I'm doing now, which is really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you go back and visit often? I'm just like curious.
Yeah, I try to. My mom and dad are still there.
And is the farming still the same? I mean, like, I know it's still the same because let's be clear. Industrial farming still exists.
Yes.
So that's a whole nother topic. Okay. But, are there any brothers or sisters out there even remotely close to where you used to live doing anything out there?
No, I'd have to go like up to Detroit or like down past Indianapolis. There's a black farm. I've never met the folks that are down there, but no, around me, it's all like industrial scale farming, big tractors, white folks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So what are some of your current frustrations with the food system? Just interested in hearing your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, now I've been, working at the THEARC for 3 years, and we've been working on a CSA, community supported agriculture. So we get these bags of produce and give them right out into the community. And it's been really, really hard. Like, we're we're a half acre, little large garden, small urban farm. And so to get enough produce to actually even just feed Ward 8, you really need collaboration amongst other farmers in the region from Maryland and Virginia, small scale farmers that are willing to bring their produce into the community. But the financial incentive isn't there. Right now, the way things are set up, organic farmers have to charge more. They don't really get any subsidies or anything like that. So their prices are always going to be a little bit higher. And so it just doesn't really make sense to come into Ward 8 and unfortunately into our neighborhoods. And so you see these farmers, black and brown farmers even that I know in Maryland that are farming, they're still bringing their produce to communities on the other side of the river, Ward 1, Ward 3, where they can get the bang for their buck. So there's still this financial disparity that I don't really know how to solve, because for the farmers to lower their prices enough to make it affordable for folks in the community, they wouldn't make any money at all. They barely make any money anyways.
It's so hard. I mean, farming and growing is so rewarding within itself.
Yeah, it is.
But when you rely on it to sustain your family, and we have these conversations all the time wherever we go, especially when we're in Detroit, but even here, they're like, we don't even take our stuff to the market anymore because we don't make any money. Like, some people just stop selling at markets if they don't make money. But also at the same time, a lot of, maybe not a lot, but the ones who I'm connected to do it because they really want to serve their community. And sometimes it's not about the dollar for them, even though they still need to make a living, So
yeah, absolutely.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's really tough. The government, and not that I think we should be relying on the government, but there's no subsidies or really no financial incentives for folks to do the work. Yeah.
Right.
And so it's hard. It's either really dedicated people that don't mind sort of the, getting paid next to nothing to bring their food into our communities, or they're finding clientele elsewhere. And as a farmer, I mean, the THEARC is a nonprofit farm, so I get a salary kind of regardless, which is nice and rare. But all the other farmers that I know, and myself even, because it's not like I get paid very much there, have to have 2-3 side hustles to make it work. And so I do a lot of building and infrastructure work also to supplement my income as a farmer. Yeah. And
so I remember I sent Dom a DM a few days ago, and I was just like, so do you want to come in this day? And he was like, well, I'm building something. What were you building?
I was building a greenhouse.
He was building a greenhouse.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, maybe next time.
Yeah. I mean, so a lot of the work that I do now.
Real farmer talk.
Is
I love that. I have those messages that come into me. Right now I'm building a hoop house.
I'm out. I was way up in Baltimore. I was on the Eastern Shore.
Oh, you weren't even here. I thought you were in DC.
No, I was way on the Eastern Shore building a greenhouse for a small scale farmer out there.
Cool.
And that's a lot of the work that I've been doing now lately, and where my passion is kind of shifting. Growing food is one thing, and as we're expanding the amount of people that are growing food and trying to kind of build a just kind of food system, a reliable food system, we have to have the infrastructure for it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that isn't talked about as much. I think it's trendy now for people to want to grow food and want to get into agriculture. But a lot of folks don't realize how hard the work really is, and how much sort of infrastructure you need to actually make it sustainable, from cold storage to having greenhouses and hoop houses for season extension, having irrigation. And so now I'm really focused on trying to provide those services for farmers, because I really do believe in this system, and it's the system that we need. I mean, moreover, I learned in grad school a lot was that the large scale industrial system is destroying the environment and is eventually going to destroy the planet. And so it's really, really important and essential for the world to transition to more small scale organic agriculture. And so a major part of that is for the small scale organic providers to have the infrastructure that they need. And so that's what I'm really focused on now with Earthbound. And I don't know if you've ever met Blaine Snipstall.
I've been, Blaine, if you listen to this, brother, I've been trying to get to you. I've been trying to meet you.
That man is busy.
I've seen him. He be zipping here, zipping there.
Busy.
When I was in Detroit last year, he was there. I was like, where does he live? I asked Shakira. It's like, girl, he just all over
Blaine
the place.
doesn't live anywhere.
He doesn't live. That's what she said to
Blaine,
me.
Nah, that nigga, he is a nomad. He's truly a yeoman. That brother is all over the place. He is.
So sorry guys for those who just joined us. This is Melissa here with the Edible Activist Podcast, and I'm chatting here with Farmer Dom Hosak.
Yes.
He is the farm manager at THEARC in Southeast Washington, D.C.
Yes, yeah.
He is the man.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the man, but I
at least for today.
At
least for today.
And then I also have my own farm down in Southern Maryland. I want to plug that. I just recently got it's a homestead.
Excuse me.
Yeah, down in Southern Maryland.
All right, homestead, yes.
Yeah, we got 3.5 acres down in Southern Maryland. When I found out I was having a daughter, it was really, really important to me to get on the land. I'd been living in D.C. and urban farming, but I really, really wanted to actually live on the land. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to find a nice house and 3.5 acres of land, and so moved down into Brandywine, Maryland, down in Southern Maryland. And that's been a whole trip of itself, because that farm I'm funding entirely myself.
Wow.
And so I'm really, really seeing from the farmer's side how difficult it is to afford all the necessary pieces to have from fencing, deer fencing, to again irrigation.
That stuff adds up.
It adds up so quickly. And so this past year has really been trials and tribulations getting that farm started. But I'm really, really excited to actually have my own farm now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to do a little plug on behalf of Harvest to Hustlers.
Yes.
They do a lot of great work. So if anybody is looking for any type of farm work, just whatever, you need to build a table. I mean, hell, they'll do it. I know you got the skill set, but like you said, you can't do it it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, yeah.
And those brothers, they are, Bo and Wallace are doing it. They're in Northeast DC. All right, guys, we're going to take a really quick break. And so I'm having fun. You having fun?
I'm having a great time.
Yay.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Woo.
You're listening to Perfect Day, produced by Artist Authentic. For more of Authentic's work, visit allornothingstudios.com. All right, guys, welcome back to the Edible Activist Podcast. This is Melissa, broadcasting live here at the Line Hotel with Full Service Radio, chatting here with Dom Hosak, Farmer Dom Hosak.
Yes, yep, farmer.
At the ARC. He is a farmer at the ARC, but he's a farmer everywhere, guys. And he actually just told me that he has some land in Southern Maryland where he built a home. Did you say you built a homestead, or you called it a homestead?
It's a homestead, yeah. There was a home that was already built there by the Amish in like the 70s that we moved into. Yeah, it's beautiful. All wood. The barn is all like wood barn. It's really beautiful.
Do me a quick favor. Can you define in your words what a homestead is? What homestead? Because I had I'm drawing a blank. The black suburban homesteads. Shout out to Shayna and Francois, who are amazing, and they have a homestead, or what they consider like their lifestyle is homesteading, out in Silver Spring, somewhere out in Maryland. Awesome. Like, I enjoyed my time with them, but like, I want you to also define because some people don't, when they hear homesteading, they don't know what that is, but also it's something that you define for yourself. It really is a lifestyle thing, right? Yeah,
that's absolutely it. Yeah. I think the difference, or the way that I define it is, our homestead is a place where we like draw on all the material resources that are there to be totally self-sustaining and self-sufficient kind of within the farm. So we're like sort of a closed loop. We have solar panels for some of our electricity. Yeah, we have chickens to get some of our eggs from. We obviously have a field where we farm for crops, and a garden that we get a lot of our like daily produce from.
You know what the great thing about my work is that when shit goes down, I know where to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I know where to go. Okay, I know where to go.
No, that's a big part of even how I get.
But that's real though. I've been in. I was actually just having a conversation with Lita just about like roots and where I'm rooted and, things like that. And my family's from Mississippi, right? And so I'll be there next week. Shout out Jackson. And I've been repping Mississippi since forever.
Yeah.
Wasn't raised there, was just born there, raised in Maryland, whatever. And so like those are my roots. Yeah. And so I really want some land there. And every time I talk to my granddad, he's like, wants to get land.
Yeah.
And I don't know what scale of homesteading I'll be, but I do want to come to a point where I am drawing. Like, I want to create this like oasis of resource, whatever, so that I'm like dependent on, like, I want to know how to do stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's all about self-sufficiency. Yeah. Is like the core of what I'm trying to do with the homestead and sort of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And a lot of it came, I don't know if you've ever read Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler.
No, but I got to.
Yeah, it really...
That sounds deep.
It's a great book, and it really highlighted the importance of building community and building like local resilience, and being able to protect yourself no matter what's going on politically or socially or economically. Having a place that can be a refuge for yourself and your community.
Absolutely.
Is like the biggest takeaway I took from that book.
That reminds me of when we were talking to T in Detroit. She was like, she grew up, she was like, I was revolutionary, and this system's gonna go down. But she's like, hell, like, we can't even grow our own food. Like, we're gonna die.
Exactly. No, I'm like also a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, and so I believe that, like,
I'm not mad.
Crazy times are ahead of us.
I'm not, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Shout out and I still want to be able to support my brothers and my sisters who are, especially like the Xaviers of the world, who are doing it, and he's creating more than a product to so to speak. But like, I still want to be able to support them and their business. But like, real talk, I am with you on that.
Yeah. It's always been the thoughts that I've had, and especially the way things are moving now with like the politics and the climate that we're in. It just seems like it's important for Black people especially to have land and be able to like kind of protect it. And so that's been like a big sort of theme that I've had for the past few years. And that was one of the big drivers behind wanting to get the homestead. I wanted to leave the city. I wanted to make sure I had a place that was a safe refuge for my daughter.
Yeah.
And myself also.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm definitely on that same wave of the importance of having our own, because the world is just crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah, exactly. And even if the conspiracy theory shit doesn't come through, which I hope it doesn't, I don't want bad things to happen.
No, but we ain't far from it. We ain't far from any of them conspiracies.
Exactly.
You know how like movies would come out, right? And you'd be like, it'd be like one of them like crazy movies, and you'd be like, that could really happen.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that like people think that this is either is happening now or can happen.
I think so. I think if you look at like the macro world, it seems like the end of days are like approaching. And I'm not even a religious person, but it feels like we're heading towards time.
Person. Yeah.
And so, that's been something that's been really important to me, is just being, and even if, again, the apocalypse doesn't come, I think just economically,
absolutely,
we're getting pinched so thin that it's really going to be the like poor people and rich people.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have in my opinion, if you're not able to like go onto the land, you're just going to take what you can get in the cities.
Isn't Jeff trying to fly into space?
Yeah, exactly.
Or has he?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos is.
Here's
Elon
the thing.
Musk is. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't want to fly into space. If the world is getting that bad, take me out. Like, I don't want to be left here like dying. Like, I'm not going into space.
I'm not living on Mars.
I'm not living on Mars. I'm good. Person. Like, just in my life. Like, I'm good. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. So what does everything that you do with farming and connecting to the land and your homestead, like, what does that mean for you and your family, especially as a Black male? Let's set farming aside, like as a Black male, like what does this, because there's a lot of things happening to our Black men. Yeah. And if I read one more Sean King post, I'm going to go ape shit.
I actually unfollowed him because I just like can't.
You know what? I wanted to unfollow him, but it's just like if I don't, like, I won't know. Yeah. It's one of those things, you know, I'm grateful for his platform. His platform is awesome, but it can be very depressing and it just makes you angry. Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy. It's really heavy. And lately I don't have the mental energy. You're right. For all of it. You know, I know that it's happening. Yeah. And I'm like compassionate. I'm part of it. Yeah. But it's really heavy. And as a Black man, I'm just really trying to follow in the footsteps of like my ancestors. Absolutely. And some of my forefathers that, you know, had not just land, but like had families and really, really took care of their families and were able to provide. The idea of providing is really, really important to me. Absolutely. And having the skill set to always, again, be resilient. You know, if the arc fires me, I'm a builder. You know, I can work with my hands. You better say it. Yeah, I'm a builder. Do something. Yeah. Yes. And so, you know, but you know why that's so important? And this is probably a little bit off subject, but not really. And I think I've mentioned this to Lita, because in the world of social media, where a lot of people hide behind our handles and we call ourselves these influencers and we do this and we do that. And I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. Do the damn thing. I'm like, what are these skill sets that people have? Yeah. I'm like, no shade. I'm like, what are these skill sets? Yeah. You take social media away, boo-boo, and you probably have nothing. And I'm no shade, but it's just like a lot of people are looking at these like things that look like gold, things that look like, you know, whatever. And it's like, where are the skill sets? And I'm so glad that you said that, because you said, take this away from me. And I feel the same way. Yeah. You can take this platform away from me. You can take my event planning skills. I have a skill set. Yeah. You know, because I'm a builder too. I'm a builder. Yeah. I'm a creator. Exactly. I'm an orchestrator. Like, I can put some stuff together, you know? Exactly. So I may not be able to build a hoop house. It's all right. You can learn if you ever want to come. But I'll write the schedule out for you. Right. I'll be the project manager, you know? But I'm so glad you said that. Because and that's why I asked you that question, like what that means to you, to your family as a Black man, because we suffer from identity issues here, all the way, know, all the way. And I'm sure this work is spiritual. Yeah, it's very spiritual. You know, it's deeply spiritual. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever had a Reiki reading or if anybody. I haven't. Have you, Lita? So I did a Reiki reading. I didn't know that. It was a trip. I mean, it was, you know. I didn't know there was such thing as a Reiki reading. Well, we just had a session. I don't even know like technically what it's called, but afterward, this was some years back too. And she was like, in former lives, you used to work with your hands a lot. Like I can tell that your hands are something that are really important to you and you've been working with your hands. So you existed before? I believe so. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely one of those. I didn't say you didn't. I just asked the question. Okay, that's interesting. And so, you know, that was just another affirmation on sort of this path that I've been on of like being able to do things for myself. Like do it yourself is kind of the most important thing for me. And so again, if anything happens, I get fired, the world collapses, whatever it is that happens, like we're going to be able to farm the land. I'm going to be able to build us a little tiny house. You know, we'll make it happen. I'm going up and doing this forestry conference in Maine, learning how to cut down the proper trees and then mill them so we can like have the lumber that we need to actually build things. So being able to do everything all the way soup to nuts is like really important to me. I don't want there to be any middleman. I don't want to have to go to Home Depot or Lumber Supply for things. Like we're going to do all of this ourselves if we have to. So when I write down my list and all the traits that I want in a man, knows how to build. Okay. Yeah. Is there a vacant lot next to you? I might just move right. Right, little tiny. I don't need much. I'm a minimalist, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't play yourself. I don't need much.
Exactly.
I don't care what you see. I don't need much at all. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that our generation and the generations behind us start to return to that a little bit, like having skills with their hands and, wanting to do things for themselves. And again, it's not that everybody has to farm or everyone has to build, but my daughter is going to definitely know how to swing a hammer. She's going to know how to put seeds in the ground and get food for herself. So she can go and do whatever she wants to do in her life. But those things, I think, have to be sort of a standard. Especially if Black folks want to weather the storm that we're in now. Yeah, especially in America. We got to be able to just do for ourselves.
Yeah. Dad, even T was talking about that. She was doing these. She's in Detroit. I don't know if you met T. Tupfera.
Yeah.
Her and Antonio, they've been trying to do some Black nature retreats.
Yeah.
Because Antonio said we need to get our Black and brown asses back into nature.
Yeah.
He said we need to learn how to start a campfire.
All the way. All the way.
Yeah. I can barely strike a match. Now I can strike a match, but. I went hiking.
Okay, I think I saw the pictures.
And I'm very transparent. I love nature.
Yeah.
But I don't like lions and bears and tigers and shit, even though no tiger is going to be in there. But when I saw that sign that said mountain lion, I saw a sign that said mountain lion territory. And it was it went from excitement to paranoia.
Yeah.
That was real talk. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think it is important for us to learn some basic skills.
Because
I feel like there's going to be a subset of us that's going to be left out. We're not going to know what to do.
And it's happened. That's their plan. I feel is to pinch us into until we're gone.
Of course.
And we have to have the resiliency to push back against that,
because we may not have the money.
No.
But we know how to build.
Yeah, and we have,
and if we have survival skills,
we'll make it work.
We can make it work.
Yeah, and that's the history of Black people in America. That's the history
of Black people in America.
Yeah.
We've been surviving since forever.
Yeah, and it's just lately folks are getting away from that. We built. We just went down to the it's a museum down in Anacostia, and we were learning about the history of Berry Farms. I didn't realize. But the Black slaves that used to live there, the guy from Berry Farms, let them all go and gave them 300 acres of land, and also gave them a bunch of lumber. And so during the day, the folks that lived there, the Black folks that lived in Berry Farms back then after the Civil War, would go west of the river to the capital area, and they built all the monuments and everything. And then at night by candlelight, they came back to Berry Farms and built their houses. And so we did everything. We had those skills, we had that knowledge, and it seems like it's getting away from us now a little bit. And so I really, want to help revitalize that. And it's hard work. I mean, and it's muddy work, and it's, but it's important work.
But you have to come to a point. You have to come to some type of revelation.
Yeah.
Or something to say, you know what, this world really is effed up.
Yeah.
And I gotta get my shit together. I really gotta learn some skills.
I think so.
You gotta want to come to that place.
Yeah, you
with
do.
A lot of things, know.
Yeah.
And I know I'm there, and I've been there, and I know even from just
that's right.
Detroit pushed me even further.
Yeah.
But that is real talk. Real talk. So. What is a typical day like at the THEARC? And when can I come visit?
You can come anytime.
Okay,
I'm there every day, 8 to 4, unless I'm not. Okay. But just text me.
Okay.
But, it's just a lot of harvesting. We do the CSA. We have between 20 to 30 members in our CSA each season. So that's 20 to 30 bags that are packed with a diverse amount of produce.
Yeah.
And so a lot of my days are just really spent in the dirt, harvesting, reseeding things, just weeding. I spend so much time just weeding. But as the farm manager, I handle all the operations down there. I order all the supplies. I think through all of our crop planning. And so, I'm hardcore farming every day. Actually, this is the last week of our CSA, which I'm so thankful for. Oh my God. It's been such a long year. Yeah.
Don't feel bad. Those things aren't easy.
And so now I'll be going into planning mode, how we're going to be crop rotating next year and building up the soil health next year and things like that. But yeah, I'm there hardcore farming every day. And then I go home to my own farm, and I'm farming there also at night. And then on the weekends, I'm building stuff with Blaine. So I'm like just working.
When do you sleep?
I don't.
And you have
my
a baby.
daughter be crying at night.
That's an 8-month-year-old little cutie pie.
Yeah, she's.
And you have
the
a
best.
son. How old's your son?
I don't have a son.
You don't have a son?
No. This is my first child.
Just joking. I don't know why I thought you had another child. All right, made that up, guys. Somebody else. Woohoo.
Yeah, brand new
okay.
dad.
Oh my God. Well, congrats.
Thank you.
And I've seen her on the gram, and she is just like the chunkiest little cutie pie ever.
She is.
Eating up everything. She wants real food now.
A little bit, yeah.
You know,
but
babies come to a point. Don't feed me no more baby food. Like I want real food.
Well, she hasn't even had. She's been like a breastfed baby.
Oh, she is.
Straight.
Oh, good.
Yeah, straight breast milk.
Good.
And now she's been like, we just got some sweet potatoes from North Carolina.
Oh, I love it.
From some black farmers, and so I've been whipping those up and adding a little honey and giving her sweet potatoes. And
I want some of that.
It's delicious. It is absolutely delicious.
Oh my goodness. That's wonderful. Yeah. So what does this legacy look like for you and your family?
You know, I'm just hoping that I can set up enough infrastructure and on our land, and we might not even be in Maryland forever. Like my ultimate goal actually is to move further south. I would love to live in like Georgia or Mississippi or where there's like more black folks and more land and less taxes. Maryland's taxes are insane. And
they
I'm
are
just
crazy.
over it. Yeah. But yeah, just having like the infrastructure and the setup there that like even if they don't want to stay on the land all the time, there's always that space for them to come back to. There's always this really safe haven for them to come back to. I'm also like really advocating for black folks to arm themselves and make sure that they know how to own and operate firearms.
Speak on that a little bit more. I'm here for it. Come on.
I mean, I just think self-defense is super, super important.
Yeah.
And we have a long history of self-defense also. I think that in popular culture, it's just like the lynchings and the hangings, but they fail to talk about how many, especially black, like the kids who came down from New York during the Freedom Summer, they stayed with black farmers who were armed and could fight back against the Ku Klux Klan.
Wow.
So there's all these stories. There's this guy I really love. His name's E.W. Steptoe. He was a black farmer. And in their county, in Sunflower County in Mississippi, the Klan knew not to come to his land because this Negro was crazy. And he would shoot.
Because he would set it off.
Because he would set it all the way off. And they knew, and there was that precedent there, like, okay, we don't go on Steptoe's land because that nigga is wild.
Right.
And I sort of want that vibe on my farm, too. You know, it doesn't have to be like that. I'm not coming for y'all at all.
Right, exactly. We're not even coming for you. Absolutely.
And so, yeah. And so, you know, so there's all of those kind of compounding levels that I really am trying to like, and I want to have more kids too. So, you know, daughter now, but I'm hoping to add on to the clan eventually. And just so that they all are kind of ingrained with that. Like whenever they go out in the world, they know there's my father's farm I can always come back to. I know how to defend myself. I know how to cook for myself. I know how to grow my own food, you know. And so just like really ingraining them with those skills is really important to me. I feel like I'm like the start of something. And like we all sort of are, like the base of like a really awesome future that we're trying to build for ourselves and our kids. So
that is so lovely.
Yeah,
that is so lovely. But do you ever look at your daughter and ask yourself, like, will she have some of the resources that are available to you now? Like, will she have access to? Yeah,
I think that all the time. I don't think so. Unfortunately, the way that the world is moving. But yeah, I think that all the time. I'm like terrified for her. Things are like just getting crazier and crazier, and
it's like you try to live in the moment. But then you can't.
Yeah, since having a daughter, it's like I just can't. You know, all I think about
snatch you just right back. Into
yeah, exactly. So you know, I try to stay optimistic. Like getting all grim about things is just not the way that I like. I'm a really sunny person in general, so I try to keep that and project that out. But yeah, I'm definitely planning for the worst. Like hopeful for the best, but planning for the worst.
No, I'm not mad at you at all. I mean, people would tell me all the time, even before I feel like it's gotten to this point, that how just watching the news and like with all the things of politics happening, that it really just put a damper on their day. And I'd be like, girl, like, I'm good. Like, don't pay no attention to that. And now I'm like, damn, I'm right here with you.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's, you know, it's not the best thing. But like I said, I unfollowed Sean King. I'm disconnecting a little bit. I try to stay, like, I listen to NPR. I listen to Democracy Now! From time to time. Like, I want to stay abreast of what's going on. But it's also just really hard to follow it day to day, I think. You know, I just like...
Because it's something every day. Or every second of the day.
You know, black people are getting lynched again. Like, just straight up lynched again. I mean, not that it ever stopped, but like... You know, I feel like... Y'all
heard that lady in Mississippi, her comment about the lynching.
Yeah. People need to get slapped. People need to get slapped. It's so disrespectful. And that's another thing, like, you know, just it's hard on my spirit to know that we're just like wholesale disrespected wherever we go.
I mean, I just feel disrespected just as my family lives in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for real.
Yeah.
But you know what? That stuff still exists down there.
Hell yeah.
What they say, come on now. There's certain counties that you still don't go into when you're in Mississippi.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just don't, you know, because come on, Mississippi is a red state, you know, and it's one that has never progressed.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. And I want to plant myself down there, you know, one day soon, get land, and I want to remain connected to my roots and where my family is. But I don't know. Again, I'm with you. It's hard. But, I used to believe that there's like, and I still do. I don't know now. I used to believe that only 1%, because a very good friend of mine who's actually transitioned on told me, she was just like, there's only 1% of the world that's like really bad. And everybody's magnifying that 1%. And I don't know.
Yeah,
Naomi hears me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's getting bad out here. But you know what? There's a lot of great shit happening out here too, though.
Yeah, there really is.
There really is. So let's spread peace, love, and light out there. So
yeah, I think that's I just watched A Wrinkle in Time. I don't know if either of you have seen that movie. It's awesome, and that's like the big takeaway. Like, the darkness is coming and spreading, but like we can fight it with the light. I really believe that. I truly believe that.
Absolutely. Dom, I've had so much fun chatting with you.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. Melissa here with the Edible Activist Podcast, and I've been here with Farmer Dom Hosak, who is the farm manager at THEARC in Southeast Washington, D.C., and we've just really been having some great conversations. Thank you for letting me into your space, learning a little bit about you and your lifestyle and your legacy and everything else. And I hope you join me back again.
Yeah, this was awesome. I love the podcast. Yeah, this was great.
Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah. So we broadcast live every Wednesday, guys, at 11. So be sure to check us out. I try to remain current on my Instagram page, you know, but go check out the other episodes too. We're on iTunes. We're supposed to be coming to Spotify soon. I don't know when that's going to happen, but right now we're on iTunes. Right. And you can actually go to fullserviceradio.org and pull up everybody else's podcast. But I'm on their Edible Activist podcast. But before we conclude, we're going to do a quick question and answer. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You sure?
I am ready.
Am I ready is the question. All right, let's see. What is your favorite leafy green?
My favorite leafy green has got to be collard greens.
Oh, yes, to the collards.
Yeah, I'm a collard
I meant to ask you, do you cook? You don't have time to cook. You
I be
just
trying.
Through your whole schedule.
I be trying. Yeah, I try. It's a fail sometimes.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No judgment. No, I love me some collard greens,
yeah.
y'all. An edible activist you look up to?
An edible activist I look up to is probably Aaliyah Frazier. I mean, Aaliyah. She started a lot of and even though we're peers, she started a lot of the work in this area for Black farmers and folks, and so I really look up to her.
I gotta have her in.
Yeah, you definitely
gotta have her in. I've met her once, but I definitely want to connect with her again. Sweet, spicy, sour, or salty?
I'm a spicy guy.
Spicy.
Yeah, I'm a spicy guy.
I love the spice. Favorite fruit?
Favorite fruit, oranges. Yeah.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah, I love oranges.
Give me all the citrus.
Yeah, I love oranges. I keep them in the refrigerator too, so they're a little cold when I try them, and it's delicious. Yeah,
I can't bite into a cold orange. My teeth.
It's like
hurt.
Candy. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Okay, so one way someone can channel their inner edible activism in the community or elsewhere.
I think just getting involved, especially here in DC, there's the Food Policy Council, and there's all these different urban farms, and just more hands and more bodies is really what we need now. For the movement to grow, I think we need more people that are committed to even if it's just volunteering on the weekends, but committed to the struggle, of building just and local food systems. So
absolutely, you're spot on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
And when you see Blaine, you tell him I said what up.
Oh yeah, I definitely will.
And I'm looking for him.
I definitely will.
He don't know who I am.
No, but
tell him I'm looking for him.
Yeah, I will. I definitely will.
All right, folks. You know what? I don't even have my script, so we're going to wing this. I'm being very real with you guys. But thank you guys for joining the Edible Activist Podcast. We broadcast here live every Wednesday from the Line Hotel at 11 o'clock. If you're an edible activist, contact me, Melissa, at goodsoilevents.com, or shoot me a DM. I do respond. I'm a very friendly person. Some people aren't. But anyway, reach out to me if you have any suggestions for anybody who wants to be on the show. Feel free to send me their name, send me their contact information. I will reach out. Follow me at Food Talks DC on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm more active on Instagram, though. And Dom, actually, where can we find you?
So, yeah, you can always DM me on Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook, Dominic Hosak. You know, I'm here.
He's there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Until next time, peace.
Thanks for listening to this program on Full Service Radio, broadcasting and recording from the Line Hotel in Adams Morgan, Washington, D.C. Full Service Radio programming can be accessed live and archived on fullserviceradio.org. Our talk programming is available on most podcast apps like iTunes and Stitcher, and our DJ sets are available on mixcloud.com/fullserviceradio. Full Service Radio features over 30 weekly shows and over 50 local hosts covering every topic imaginable. If you want to be a guest or get involved, email us at info@fullserviceradio.org. Follow us on Twitter at FullServiceRDO, on Instagram and Facebook at Full Service Radio. Thanks for listening.